For centuries, the Roman Empire seemed invincible. Yet in the year 476 AD, the greatest empire in Western history collapsed. How did a civilization that ruled millions of people, conquered vast territories, and dominated Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East fall apart? Was it barbarian invasions? Corrupt emperors? Economic collapse? Civil wars? Or was Rome destroyed by something even more dangerous, its own success? This is the story of how the mighty Roman Empire fell. To understand Rome's fall, we first need to see its greatness. At its height, the Roman Empire stretched from Britain in the north to Egypt in the south. It covered 3 continents. More than 60 million people lived under Roman rule. Roman engineers built roads, aqueducts, bridges, and cities that still stand today. Trade flowed across thousands of miles. Roman soldiers guarded borders stretching across deserts, forests, and mountains. For many people, Rome wasn't just a city. It was the center of the world. Yet beneath this image of strength, cracks had already begun to appear. Rome's greatest strength eventually became one of its greatest weaknesses. The empire grew so large that governing it became increasingly difficult. Messages took weeks or months to travel. Rebellions could erupt before orders arrived. Generals stationed far from Rome often gained enormous power. Many began believing they deserved the throne. As a result, political instability became a constant threat. Between 235 and 284 AD, Rome entered a period historians call the crisis of the 3rd century. During these 50 years, more than 20 emperors ruled. Most didn't die peacefully. Many were assassinated by their own soldiers. Some ruled only for a few months. The empire was becoming unstable from within. The 3rd century nearly destroyed Rome. Civil wars erupted repeatedly. Generals fought each other for power. Armies that should have defended borders were instead fighting fellow Romans. At the same time, foreign enemies sensed weakness. Germanic tribes attacked from the north. The Persian Empire launched invasions from the east. Entire provinces were lost. The economy began collapsing. Trade routes became unsafe. Agricultural production declined. Tax revenue dropped. To pay soldiers, emperors started producing more coins. But there was a problem. The coins contained less and less silver. As money lost value, prices skyrocketed. Inflation spread across the empire. Ordinary people suffered. Businesses struggled. Confidence in the government weakened. Rome survived this crisis, but it emerged permanently damaged. In 284 AD, Emperor Diocletian came to power. He realized one man could no longer govern such a massive empire. His solution was revolutionary. He divided administration between eastern and western regions. The idea worked for a while. The eastern half became wealthier and more stable. The western half faced greater challenges. Its borders were harder to defend. Its economy was weaker. Its cities generated less wealth. Eventually, the empire became permanently divided. This division would play a major role in Rome's future. Because when danger arrived, not all parts of the empire would suffer equally. For centuries, Rome had fought tribes along its borders. But during the 4th century, a new force appeared. The Huns. These fierce horse warriors emerged from Central Asia. As they moved westward, they terrified entire populations. Germanic tribes fled before them. Many sought refuge inside Roman territory. At first, Rome allowed some groups to settle. But poor treatment and corruption created resentment. The Roman army was crushed. Even the emperor was killed. For the first time, it became clear that Rome was no longer militarily unbeatable. Then came a moment that shocked the ancient world. In 410 AD, the Visigoths, led by Alaric, entered Rome itself. The city that had once conquered nations was now being looted by foreign warriors. For 3 days, Rome was sacked. Although the destruction was limited compared to later events, the psychological impact was enormous. For nearly 800 years, Rome had been the symbol of power and stability. Now it appeared vulnerable. People across the empire began asking a terrifying question. If Rome can fall, what can survive? Military defeats were only part of the story. Rome was also suffering economically. Taxes became increasingly heavy. Farmers abandoned their lands. Many citizens struggled under growing financial burdens. Meanwhile, maintaining the army became extremely expensive. Defending thousands of miles of frontier required enormous resources. The government needed more soldiers. But recruiting Romans became harder. As a result, Rome increasingly relied on foreign mercenaries. These troops could fight effectively, but their loyalty often lay with their commanders rather than the empire itself. The Roman military was slowly losing its Roman identity. By the 5th century, the Western Roman Empire was a shadow of its former self. Powerful Germanic leaders controlled much of the military. Emperors came and went. Real authority often belonged to generals. Then, in 476 AD, a Germanic commander named Odoacer removed the last Western Roman emperor. His name was Romulus Augustulus. Ironically, he was only a teenager. There was no dramatic final battle. No massive explosion. No single day when everyone realized Rome was gone. The empire simply became too weak to continue. Historians traditionally mark 476 AD as the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The age of ancient Rome had ended. Here's where the story gets interesting. The Roman Empire didn't completely disappear. The Eastern Roman Empire survived. Today we call it the Byzantine Empire. Its capital, Constantinople, remained powerful for nearly another 1,000 years. Roman laws, culture, and traditions continued influencing the world. In many ways, Rome never truly died. Its ideas lived on. Its architecture inspired future generations. Its legal systems shaped modern governments. Its language influenced dozens of modern languages. Even today, the legacy of Rome surrounds us. So why did the Roman Empire collapse? The answer isn't one event. It was a combination of factors. Political instability, economic decline, military problems, civil wars, foreign invasions, and an empire that became too large and complex to manage effectively. Rome wasn't destroyed overnight. It slowly weakened over centuries. The lesson of Rome is timeless. Great civilizations rarely fall because of a single enemy. More often, they collapse when internal weaknesses make them unable to face external challenges. And that's what happened to one of the greatest empires the world has ever known. The Roman Empire conquered much of the known world. But in the end, it could not conquer its own problems.